blooming hot in here this morning. I have completely stripped off. It is Wednesday morning, not even 8 AM yet. The studio is either freezing or roasting, and today it is roasting. It is October, so that means the heating's been on. I'm gonna have to crack a few windows open in a minute. But this week we are working on my chocolate slabs. I've also got a few gadgets behind me that I want to show you that I bought completely on a whim. So I have a market coming up at the end of this month. Technically it's November, but it pops up on my October calendar view. I have done this market only once before, and this year is the very last market. It's called the Magical Market. I absolutely love it. We did really well with it last year, and it's all things magical inspired, Disney inspired. I love looking around the other stalls, buying gifts. So obviously I'll be there with my chocolate bars, but I wanted to bring something else. Just because chocolate is so expensive, I wanted a slightly cheaper option for people to be able to buy. And I thought of Rice Krispie treats, because Disney World does sell Mickey shaped Rice Krispie treats, and I have been trialing those. I've been trialing different recipes. I mean, it's only 3 ingredients, how wrong can you go? But believe me, you can go wrong. It's like, this one's too hard, this one's too sticky, this one's too chewy. But not only that, Rice Krispie treats, if you didn't know, go stale in a day. In a day. They only last a day. Literally, as you've made them and let them cool down, that's the time to eat them. Now, I have to make these on a Thursday because Friday I'm at Cake International in Birmingham, and then Saturday and Sunday is the market, also in Birmingham. So I have to make these on Thursday and take them down with me and make them last a few days. So instead of just writing it off and thinking what a silly idea to try and make them so far in advance when they're going to go stale, what did stubborn ass here do? She decided to buy some extra machinery to see if it could be done. So what you're looking at here are my new purchases. I'll give you a demo when I'm ready. I don't have any made at the moment. But essentially, this is called a heat sealer. I have my shrink wrap bags and a heat gun. Now, I didn't want to vacuum pack the Rice Krispies. I'm thinking if you suck all the air out the packet, it's going to make it last a little bit longer because the air isn't getting to the Rice Krispies and making them stale. But vacuum packing, they just don't look very pretty. It's a very awful packet, and it just sucks the air out and then leaves the big back in. So I thought maybe shrink wrapping might be a little bit better. So these are the shrink wrap bags. Just got these from Amazon. And it's like a very thin, you obviously got food grade ones because there are different types of shrink bags. These are the food grade ones. So these are like the thin little bags, and it's a bag all the way around and open at one end. You put your item in, you seal the open end of the bag with this. So you press this down, it heats it up and makes a seal across there. And then you can just cut the overhang off. And then when it's bagged, you plug in your heat gun. This is essentially like a hairdryer. It's just a little bit hotter and more powerful than a hairdryer. And then what the heat does is shrink the plastic to the shape of what's in your bag. Now, so it's not sucking the air out, it's kind of just sucking the bag to the product. So I'm hoping that will be enough to keep the Rice Krispies fresh enough for a few more days to be able to sell them. I made some yesterday, I shrunk wrapped them, I took them home, and we're planning to eat one tomorrow and one on Friday, because those will be like the market days. In terms of like all day today, it's just going to sit there. That would be Friday, Cake International. And then Saturday and Sunday is when people will be buying them and eating them. So we're trialing those tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't that expensive. I think this was about £16. This maybe £12. The bags, I want to say £8. Total guess. I will leave them linked below though if you're interested, because they all work. They've worked perfectly. It's just that I just randomly buy machinery that for one product that might not even work. I have already made my sugar paste toppers ready to go. They've been drying. I made those yesterday, so they've been drying. So today I'm getting the chocolate machine out and we're making some chocolate bars. But first I need to find my hair clip because it is too hot. Here she is. I have pulled her out of hibernation. She only comes out at Christmas. Occasionally at Easter if I've got time, but mostly she's just a Christmas machine. Now, I always get questions. As soon as I mention my chocolate machine, I get questions. Do I recommend it? What type shall I get? And honestly, being 100% honest right now, do not look into buying anything to do with chocolate. I recently said this when I got asked about this a couple of weeks ago. I said, if you're thinking about getting into chocolate, don't. The reason for that is the prices are insane. If you watch last week's vlog, I will link it below. We did chat a little bit about how many chocolatiers have given up because everything costs so much. It's impossible to buy your core ingredients, create something with it, and then sell it at a price point that you're going to make a profit. So my advice is just don't look into starting anything to do with chocolate just now. And I know you're thinking, Tracy, you're making chocolates. Why have you not given this up? I am stubborn. I have all my stuff that I've bought, all my molds, all my plaque cutters, and I'm just stubborn. The reality of it is I am going to make £2 to £3 a bar, if that. The rest of it is the chocolate price, the price of the sweets and the chocolates that go on the top. This isn't even time. I've not put even any time. That's just cost of ingredients, the bag, the sticker, the bow that goes on the bag. And I'm going to earn £2 to £3, and that's not taking into account any time. Why are you doing this, Tracy? I don't know. Because I've done it most Christmases and I have markets lined up and I've got nothing else to sell at the markets. So yeah, there is your honest answer. Don't buy a chocolate machine. So just for some extra information, because maybe you were not into chocolate anyway or don't know much about it, you would assume the chocolate machine just kind of melts it. It's way more than that. This machine will set you back a couple of grand. And there's a good reason for that. It's a tempering machine. Now, a lot of people, if this is you, it's fine to think that, because most people think that you can just melt chocolate, put it in a mold and pop it out once it sets. You can't. The reason for this, when you melt chocolate down, you are destabilizing the chocolate. The chocolate has crystals in and you're breaking those down when you melt chocolate. Now, if you were just to melt it, pop it into a mold and pop it out, it might look all right for the first few hours. But the next day you might find that your chocolate either has white streaks in it or white blotches on it. It can look pretty disgusting, but it's actually completely safe to eat. There's nothing wrong with it. You can eat it perfectly fine. It just doesn't look good. And that's because you haven't formed the crystals back to how they should be for the chocolate to set properly. So all your big chocolate companies, your Cadbury's, your Nestle, anybody who's making chocolate will have one of these on an industrial scale. We're talking massive, massive tanks of chocolate that will be tempered. And what that means is that once you've melted the chocolate down like this, so this is currently melting, you can see it here in the machine, this will melt. Now, I've completely destroyed the crystals in this chocolate, so I have to put them back in. I have to get it to a very specific temperature, then add more chocolate calais, not melted ones, whole ones, back in to reform the crystals. All about getting the chocolate to a perfect temperature for the crystals to form properly, so that when I put this in the mold, the chocolate will be nice and shiny, it will be hard, it'll have a hard snap. Just as any regular chocolate bar, your Cadbury's and things that you buy from the shop. If I don't do that, I will almost be able to bend the chocolate. It won't have a snap, it'll kind of just break open and be quite brittle and gritty. Like I said, nothing wrong, you can eat it all you like. Just doesn't look good, it's not very professional, and all your major chocolate people will have done tempering in some way. Now, you don't necessarily need a machine to do that. You can do it via microwave, via temperature probe, which is how I made all my first chocolate bars. We were tempering this by hand, but as I upscaled and wanted to sell more chocolate bars, I had to invest in a machine. Like I said, would not recommend in this climate where chocolate is insanely expensive, but I just wanted to give you a little bit of a look behind the chocolate tempering process, because a lot of people just assume you can just melt it and that's it and it's job done. Much more difficult than that. Another item I will leave linked below because I blooming love these things. These are stackable cooling racks, but I don't use them as cooling racks, I just use them as extra storage. So when I make my sugar plaques, you can see I've got all my Grinch heads under here ready to go. These would usually be taking up all my worktop space, so I need to be able to stack them. And I also put my chocolate molds on here, so when I've washed them and I need to dry them out, I can just lay all my chocolate molds in here to dry them. Here is another set over here. So yeah, you can just keep stacking them and stacking them and stacking them because they just have little legs. You can either use them on their own or flip the little legs out and stack them up. But they come in super handy if you don't have a lot of worktop space and you have a lot of like flat sugar paste work. You can just stack them. So I'll leave these linked below as well. Right, it's a few hours later now. I have my Grinches in the fridge just setting. Pop on screen me making them, so I'm popping on the aero balls and some aero pieces, a peppermint candy cane and a Grinch head and some sprinkles. So this is a very minty bar, so if you like your mint chocolate, this is definitely one for you. And by the time this vlog goes up, they'll all already be ready to buy or pre-order online. But on screen now are some lollies. Now I've not made any lollies before, I've had the molds for a while, but just haven't had a chance to play with them because I need to figure out how much chocolate this holds so I'm able to price them. Now this isn't the front. I've decided to do the front on the other side. I'm going to do something special with these if I can. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I want to turn these into little Epcot balls, which is going to be on the other side. But I did want them to have a little bit of a flavour rather than it just being plain pop. So these are strawberry millions. So you've got a nice smooth Belgian chocolate, and then you've got these really nice bursts of chewy pieces of strawberry in. So I'll be unmoulding these in a second once they've set to see how I go. I have decided probably only to offer these at the markets because I feel like they may break in the post. You know, for people who maybe want 3 big rad slabs and then 2 lollies, trying to package those and like not have the rad slabs completely smash the lollies to bits in the post. I don't know. I feel like if I tried to offer them, it would be more trouble than it's worth. So probably a market exclusive, I think, for the lollies. Friday and you've just watched me for the past 2 days making chocolate. I have a few of the designs done. I have lots more designs still to go. I have my new Polar Express tickets that you've seen. Really liking how they're coming out. They are quite chunky. I also tried the mini turkeys you see. I could not resist this. Do you know when you see something and you go, that is utterly ridiculous, I need it? That was me buying that turkey mold. It makes little tiny roast turkeys and it's just hilarious. However, the mixture was I was just trialing the mold and it was the last bit of chocolate I had, which means that it was slowly starting to thicken up at that point. And it needs to be really runny to be able to go into all the cavities. So you'll see quite a few of them have got like little air bubble holes and pockets where the chocolate didn't quite run into the mold properly. So that's a top tip for you. If you want a nice clean outcome, your chocolate has to be nice and runny. The Epcot balls, quite happy with those. They're not 100% perfect, but there's not much more else I can do. And they're only chocolate lollies, they're made to just be eaten, so those will be fine. The Rice Krispie treats, so I took Rice Krispie treats home. We ate one yesterday, which timing wise would have been the Saturday of the market. That's how fresh they would have been on the Saturday. And they're still not right. They're still a little bit stale. They go stale so quick. And even with me heat sealing it, shrink wrapping it, they're still going stale. So I'm going to have to, as bad as it is, I'm going to have to knock them off the menu for the market. I really wanted to bring them to the Magical Market, but I also don't want to serve still treats. So I'm stuck with a huge bag of mini M&Ms. I bought the stuff for it. I even bought bloody machinery for it and it's a no-go. I am admitting defeat and I am waving my white flag. I either just take what I've got or I come up with something else, but honestly my brain is like a ball of mash because there is just so much left to do. Hi, I've changed position. I'm now sat at my desk. I should really be working on more chocolate today for photos for the launch on Sunday. It's 2 days away. However, there's lots of admin that needs to be done, so I need to do all the allergen lists for what I've made so far. I have cherry mail to send out. So I'm actually going to show you the packing of the cherry mail. I will put a timestamp on screen as we get closer to it if you want to skip past because you don't want to know what's in your cherry mail. So a quick recap, cherry mail is an add-on people can purchase as part of my online cake community. If they fancy treating themselves, it's a bit like a blind box. You don't know what's coming. I just give you a theme. This month's theme was black cherry, so that's all they've got to go on. And then if they fancy treating themselves, they can add it as an add-on, basically pre-ordering it. And then I buy all the stuff for the boxes and send them off in the post. It's like a little surprise treat. They don't know what they're going to get. Now, I don't usually film this because a lot of the brigadiers want to keep it as a surprise. Don't want to know what's coming, but at the same time, like when they've received their box, sometimes I don't hear anything back. They don't post it online either because they don't want to spoil the surprise for other brigadiers. So really, I'm offering something that people don't know about because I don't talk about it, I don't show it, they don't talk about it. And that is a really crap way to run a business. I'm not promoting anything that I'm doing. That was just the door. So what was I saying? So yeah, when you run a business, you're supposed to be talking about the things that you're offering, and I'm not doing that. So I'm really sorry to the people who want to keep it as a surprise. I will put a timestamp if you want to skip past it, but I have to talk about it, guys. I have to let people know what I'm actually doing. Right, here is your warning. This is what time you need to skip to if you want to keep your cherry mail a secret, because I am about to reveal what I've sent. Okay, so the theme was black cherry. Now, I used to have 2 businesses. I had Little Cherry, which you know today, and also Black Cherry. So Little Cherry was the light side, the fun, colourful kids cakes or the elegant wedding cakes. And Black Cherry was its dark side. This was your geeky, your gamer, your gothic, your gory. And if you go back, you'll see some of the images do still have a Black Cherry logo on. I had 2 websites. I had, obviously, Little Cherry, you know of that now. It's in a very 80s, 90s theme, but the logo used to be just Little Cherry and then just a regular, like,
raspberry coloured cherry, and then for black cherry it was exactly the same logo except it said black cherry and the cherry had more of a skull face on. I actually have something very similar tattooed here on my arm. It's very faded now, but essentially it was a cherry with like a skull's face on it to show the dark side. And it just got very confusing for people, thinking that I was two completely different people. I also had to pay for 2 websites, 2 lots of domain names, 2 lots of hosting, 2 lots of promotional material. So that's your leaflets, your business cards. I was turning up at alternative wedding fairs as Black Cherry. Then they were getting confused, like, well, who is Little Cherry? Anyway, it got confusing. I shut it down and decided to merge it back together, stitch it back together like a Frankenstein, and just go under the name Little Cherry. So I only had to pay for one of everything. But to pay homage to Black Cherry, which, like I said, was the alternative darker side, this is what I've decided to theme the box on. So first up, I have these cute little like felty pom-poms, which make great filler flowers on some of the cakes. I have some of these in the cupboard myself, ready to use, and they're obviously in the burgundy colour because burgundy and black go hand in hand. So these are great little flowers for cakes. I also have in burgundy a nice fluffy pom-pom keyring with some dark leaves and stems. This is a little keyring, because we had to get the cherries in there somewhere. Same colour again. Now, we know we can't have our nails done very often. This is how they look pretty much 90% of the time. And I was going out the other day, and every time I try to paint my nails, it just chips straight off. And I thought, you know what? I haven't done fake nails in a long, long time. So I thought I'll just order some and see how I go. And it was insanely quick. I have forgotten how quickly you just stick them on and it transforms your whole hand. Makes you feel really good. And they stuck on there for quite a few days. And I thought, what a good temporary idea for cake decorators that wants to quickly look nice, feel a bit different and glammed up to go out. But then maybe you've got work in the next couple of days and you can just pop them off. So I decided to get them obviously burgundy, but there's some like skull detail. Some of the other ones have roses on. There's lots of different sizes inside the box because everyone's got different sizes of nails. So I thought I would treat them because they are hardworking. They're also making cakes and they deserve to feel a little bit glam as well. Next up is a mould. We have this skeleton mould. It's quite deep in the centre for the head and the ribs and the torso. And then the limbs are on these side pieces. They're not quite as deep, so you've got the arms and legs. Great for Halloween, but also all year round if they need, because you can just put the paste into the skull part and just use the skull if you want, or maybe just the rib cage if you're doing like a really gothic cake and you have like gold rib cages all over your cake. I thought that could come in handy for quite a few different things actually. Like I said, Black Cherry was all about the alternative. So I have this skull bride and groom topper here. Again, sticking in the very similar colour. So we've got the black and we've got a bit of burgundy and red coming through. And I just thought this was really cool. It's actually really lightweight as well, so it's not going to be too heavy for your cakes. And you can just stick this straight on top. I have also bought one of these for myself because you just never know when you're going to need it. And lastly, to go with that, we have some of these plastic butterflies that have roses on the wings, and some of them have an overlay of spider webs and skull faces. So pairing these with the bride and groom topper and these burgundy florals all on one cake, on like a dark cake. It's pretty much designed itself with all these items. This is just a quick overview of what like cherry mail is like. You never know what's coming, and hopefully it's a nice surprise in the post. I can't remember what I last filmed, but it's now Monday. I also apologise if this is really bright. I feel like I'm really bright, but that's because on my last video somebody mentioned, they said, have you noticed like black light, fuzzy lines kind of moving up through the video? The footage. And yes, it's something I've noticed, and it's not something I've been able to fix because it's something called strobing, and that's where the camera's frame rate, whatever you've got it set to, isn't compatible with the frequency of the strip lighting that I've got in my studio. That's why you won't ever find strobing when I'm filming outside anywhere, because you've got natural sunlight. But when I'm contending with strip lights, there's a different lighting frequency, and it can make a strobing effect. And you might notice this if you've tried to like film with your iPhone in a similar setting. You get like a flickering effect. So I've changed some of the settings on the camera, and I've taken it out of auto mode and tried to set it myself, but I look very bright, so I apologise if I start glowing like an alien at some point. But I was in all day yesterday, Sunday, making chocolates ready for my launch at 6 p.m. Wow, what a royal bleeping mess that was. Oh, it did not go to plan. I wasn't ready. My videos were glitching. The website was being incredibly slow. Some items didn't even make it onto the website until 10 minutes past. And there's people trying to make orders, and not all the products are there. Some of them didn't have pictures. People were making orders for things that didn't even have pictures, so they didn't even know what it looked like. That's just insane to me. That is loyalty, guys. That's like, I don't know what it looks like, but I'm sure it will be brilliant, so I'm going to buy it anyway. But yeah, it went wrong, and I was messing around with it for hours last night until I just had to give up. I went to bed at 8:30. 8:30, I was in bed. I didn't sleep very well. I woke up with a banging headache, and I'm still trying to fix things today. But hopefully they will still be on the website by the time this video goes up to purchase one if you want. I don't even remember what I filmed in terms of which slabs you've seen and which you haven't. It's all a massive blur. So I'll quickly go through what we have. So this is our Polar Express slab. This is new for 2024. Oh, hang on, is this where I need to change the settings again? No, I can still see that bar. A black line is slowly going up the screen, very slowly, so I apologise, we're just going to have to go with it. So yeah, there's Polar Express ticket here in navy and gold, and it comes with Cadbury snowballs and squishy marshmallows and sprinkles. This is really finding it hard to focus. Oh my goodness, what is happening? I may have to put the auto mode back on. And they all come with a matching little bow in the corner, and this is what I've introduced instead of the boxes. Now there's pros and cons to this. Because they're not in boxes anymore, it means I don't have to be careful about the contents that I put on. Such as this Wild Wookie. This is the Wild Wookie slab. It's got some galaxy swirls and stars. It's got the Millennium Falcon and a fighter, Merry Christmas on it. Now this wouldn't usually fit in a box because the Millennium Falcon is quite deep, so when I go to put it in the box the lid wouldn't shut properly, and then you'd have a hump in the lid and it looked very unprofessional. But now I've ditched the boxes, it doesn't matter how chunky something is, it can still go on. So that is an upside to losing the boxes and having bows now. So I think these ones are going to have the same gold bows on. I'm just working on the allergen stickers for these ones at the moment. The gonks are back. These were something that we brought out a couple of years ago. These are for the chocoholics. It's got like a mousse. It's like a mousse filling with crispy bits in the big gonk, and the little gonk has got salted caramel in. It's got Maltesers. It's got chocolate chips. This will also come with a bow. I have my huge tub of chocolate here ready to go. These are my Mickey Mouse ones. Milk chocolate with freeze-dried raspberries, squishy marshmallows and sprinkles, and the Mickey is dark chocolate dusted with gold. It's got like that bronzy old vintage effect. And he comes with a red bow. We have Olaf here. All these are bubblegum flavoured as well. So we've got a bubblegum flavoured candy cane, bubblegum millions, sprinkles. Yeah, these ones are all stock for the market that I've got at the end of this month because I'm going to have no time to make these closer to the day because I have so many wedding cakes to fit in before then. Another full tub. These are proving quite popular. These are the new Polar Express tickets. Comes with a little red bow. So these are selling online at the moment. The vintage Christmas ones are some of my faves. I just love the text on the plaque, and it in being in like an emerald green with the gold dusting. It just looks really retro Christmas. So I love these ones, and I also really like the Hogwarts ones. I think it's the colourings of like the jelly beans and the colours of the sprinkle mix. They've got little brooms on there as well. These come with a red bow. So yeah, I really liked how these ones turned out as well. I really wish I would have kind of filmed the process of everything going wrong during the launch. I was too busy to pick the camera up, just to show you the realities of what this job can be like sometimes. Because wedding season is just that, it's just a season. Mine typically seems to be busy between kind of April and November time for wedding cakes, and I seem to just be always on the go. But then at Christmas time is when I bring all my chocolate slabs out. So I'm contending with the last part of wedding season and also trying to launch the slabs at the same time. And then I book in lots of markets to attend, because online is great if you're seen. So you can't really rely just on online sales alone, because if social media just decides it's not showing your stuff, then people don't know you exist or what your products are like. So I have to get out there to markets. I think I have about 7 of them booked in. And then the beginnings of the year, kind of like January towards April, January and February are usually busy with wedding fairs. So those are like drumming up your business to sell your wedding cakes for the following wedding season. So it can be an all-round crazy job where everything is different. Like I've got chocolates in December, and weddings during the year, and wedding fairs at the beginning of the year, and then slotting in all these other crazy jobs that I do. And when that stress hit me yesterday, I went to bed at 8:30, I thought, this job is hard work. I feel like I would be less stressed being a brain surgeon. So anybody else out there doing this job, salute. I tip my hat. It's bloody hard work. And I don't think I said, but my TV's broke again. So the other day I was fixing my Hoover, my Dyson. It keeps saying that there is a blocked pipe when it's completely clear. So I had to strip the whole thing down and find some random little compartments that you can't get to until you take it to bits, that I found tiny little blockages in. So I fixed that, and just as I fixed that, the TV bloody broke again. So I've ordered some parts for that, and hopefully they will get here. It's the backlights that have gone again. So I did this 2 years ago. I changed the backlights 2 years ago. So it's lasted 2 years. The replacement parts cost about 30 quid. So it's still cheaper than buying a new TV. So we haven't had any TV to watch, which has been good and bad. It means we've got other stuff done. We've done lots of walking. I was gonna wrap this vlog up. I'm telling you all this thing to wrap the vlog up, but you're looking at me in this position for a long time. It's gonna get very boring, so I'll just move somewhere else for a minute. Ta-da! I have moved over to my logo wall. Which, by the way, can you see this? Can you see this butt ugly dirty mark on my wall? Do you know what that is? Buttercream. I've been in this studio for years, and I have buttercream on my wall now. I will put the culprit on screen, but I was holding it out trying to get a picture with my phone like this in front of my wall, and I'm looking at my camera screen not realising how close I am, and I just went and just squashed it against my wall. If that wasn't bad enough, come with me around here. See this? This is buttercream splat number 2. Where I did the exact same thing after just sticking it to this wall. Luckily it wasn't for a client. It was just a challenge piece. You can go back and watch the tutorial for that if you haven't seen it. But yeah, what was I chatting about? So yeah, we've been going out on walks, but it's getting darker now. It's getting very cold. We are sold this idea that autumn is nice orange crunchy leaves, hot chocolate, jumpers, and in reality it's bloody freezing, the car is icy, it's peeing it down, you get wet, you don't even want to get out of bed in the morning because it's cold. That is not my idea of a nice autumn. Sounded a bit like Gary Barlow there. But I'm really going to go this time. I have no idea how long this vlog is, but thank you very much for watching, because there's been no cake content, just stressful chocolate content. And if you decide that you like the look of these slabs, please do pop over to my website. The link is down below the video. And I would love it if you could grab something that you liked in the shop. And then I'll be making them throughout November and sending them out to you early December, hopefully, fingers crossed. But no doubt I'll be taking you along for the ride. But the next vlog will include wedding cakes, because we've still got lots of wedding cakes to do, and the next two are insane. And I'm delivering them on the same day. So I'll see you in the next one for that.